Selling your business is just like going to war. My name is Brody Vinson, and I know this because I've been in these wars a bunch of times now. I've sold a couple of my own businesses, and now I help others sell their businesses for more money and with better terms. And today, by the end of this, I'm going to leave you with the exact plan that you need to decisively win your war of selling your business. I'm talking about feeling like Genghis Khan rampaging through the continent, pillaging and conquering every single corner. Maybe not quite that extreme, but you're going to win, and you're going to win big when you sell your business if you follow this plan that I'm going to outline. Because selling a business, like going to war, is not about whether or not you're prepared, it's about how prepared you actually are. While I'd love to tell you that my first 2 sales went smoothly, perfectly, were done totally strategically, and made me life-changing money, none of that was actually the case because of some failures to put these types of plans in place. They went well, but they weren't the decisive peacetime creating victories that I now help people get. Back then, I didn't even know that I was going to war. So I took note of what went wrong, what went right, licked some of my wounds, and started guiding business owners of all types into preparing for selling their business like it really was a war. And that's where you're at right now, where I was at before. You have a war ahead of you, but you've never been in one. I've been in quite a few now, and I'd like to tell you what winners actually do to win. Once I learned the truth and learned how to prepare in this way, the way I was able to help others started to look a lot different. First, I'm going to tell you how losers go into their war. They take their time to seize the opportunities in front of them. They don't know how to prepare their forces for the war. They fail to delegate responsibilities. They don't stockpile any resources to fight the war with. They stay closed-minded and not adaptable during the process. They start fighting without a plan. They don't practice their battle techniques ahead of time. They have the wrong leader or no leader to take them into battle, and they stay on the defensive and never take initiative. So who wins? It's the ones that do the exact opposite of all those things I just described. The ones who go in with strategy and can stick it out for the long term. There are 9 things that I'd do differently if I could turn back the clock and go do those first 2 sales again. 9 things that I'm about to guide you through for your business so that in the future you can dominate your war and make that life-changing money when you actually sell your business. This is meant to be your personal guide, so I want you to be able to use it that way. Number 1 is to strike while the iron is hot. You have no idea how many business owners I talk to who have experienced the following things. They had some incredible success once upon a time or even recently, but they didn't know how to capitalize on it when it was time. And then they let it simmer down, or something happened outside of their control in the business or in life. And now they don't have the same leverage or growth opportunities that they had back then. And because of that, selling for good money or great money is a complete uphill battle. So number 1, winners recognize when and why they have momentum and advantage, and they seize the opportunity rapidly and aggressively. You've probably never heard of the Battle of Gaugamela, but long story short, Alexander the Great was fighting the Persians. Even though he was outnumbered, he saw a gap in the forces, so he decided to charge his troops right into the gap, and this caught the other side off guard and allowed Alexander to actually win the battle and then eventually the war and take control of Persia. In other words, he saw an opportunity and he went for it. So our next day is never guaranteed in life. Our health isn't guaranteed the next day, so don't wait for the opportunity to go cold. The hands down best time to sell your business is at its very peak, at its very best. That's the easiest time to recruit great employees, great customers, and great potential buyers of it. And if you wait and you fall outside of this zone, you're going to have a lot going against you in this war. On the other hand, if your business is doing better than it's ever done and you're absolutely loving it, you're probably not going to want to sell, but it's actually probably the best time to, because it's at its most attractive to a potential buyer. If you're going to sell your business, you need the tools to be able to do it right. In war, these are your weapons and your resources. In your business, these are your systems, processes, and documents. 99% of business owners think they're ready to sell, but they have so many of these things living in their head, and that's an issue. Do you think a buyer can take over your business and then read your mind every time that they need to know how to do something, how some process or system works? I don't think so either. And if the buyer that can do that is out there, I'd really like to meet them because they're probably doing pretty well for themselves. Now in war, you'd probably have someone stockpiling the armory for you. I don't want to overwhelm you here because you probably don't have someone to follow you around asking you how you do every single little thing and taking copious notes on your responses to then create a well-organized system of documents that can explain it to anyone. So here's what you're going to do instead. You're going to grab your computer, download Zoom if you haven't already. Maybe you're still living in 2019 or something. And then you're going to create a Zoom account by logging into your Google account to make it easier. You'll thank me for that part later. It makes the whole process you're about to get into more seamless. So again, you need a Google account and a Zoom account. You're going to create your Zoom account by logging in through your Google account. So create your Google account first if you don't have that. So you're going to download something called Fathom Note Taker. Looks like this logo, and you're going to download that and you're going to install it on your computer as an actual app. Make sure to install it fully. Then create an account on Fathom. And again, here you're going to log in through Google to make this whole process more seamless and easy. Then you're going to get the free trial of Premium, or go ahead and upgrade to Premium. It's really cheap and it's worth it. I'll tell you why in a second. Then you're going to go to the settings of your Fathom account. You're going to click the option to connect your Zoom account, which, if you were paying attention to before, is already connected to your Google account, which is connected to your Fathom account. So that's what makes this all easier. So you're going to connect your Zoom account to your Fathom account, and you're going to follow the prompts to finish doing that. Eventually, in settings, it'll say that it's fully connected. Now, when you go into your settings, it's going to look like this, and you'll know that your Zoom account is fully connected if it looks like this. And I would recommend going ahead and just connecting it to Google Meet as well, and Microsoft Teams if you use that. And you'll see if you have the Premium here. Now, if you get Premium, you can also name it something cool, but that's not super important unless you're taking a lot of client calls. Okay, so once your account is connected, then you're going to open Zoom up as an application on your computer again. Then you're going to open this Google Doc that's linked right here. And this will open something that looks like this. And you'll need to go ahead and make a copy of this document if you want to edit it at all. But if you don't need to edit it for any reason, you can just follow along on here. So this is where we stock up for your Armory. So to fill your Armory, you're going to interview yourself. And I know that sounds weird, but like we said before, you don't want to pay someone to stand around listening to you talk and then try to explain everything to them. So you're just going to do it in-house, make it easier. So what I'd recommend doing here, keep this document open and then start a new Zoom call on the Zoom application by yourself. So new meeting, that'll look kind of like this. You're basically just going to open this up, click new meeting, and actually start that meeting, right? Once you've started a new meeting, then you're going to wait for your Fathom Note Taker to automatically join the call and allow it to record. Now, if this is not happening automatically for any reason, go back into your Fathom settings and make sure that it's set to automatically join Zoom calls. Then you're going to use the following questions. So just a little housekeeping here. While you have your Zoom meeting open and being recorded with Fathom, the idea here is that you're essentially interviewing yourself. You're recording yourself asking a very specific set of questions that will allow you to create systems for what you do in your business. Now, the reason you have Fathom joining as a note taker to record this is, one, so that you can watch it back and see what you said, but two, it's actually going to use AI to create custom notes and give you action items of what to do afterwards. So Fathom will be recording the interview, and at the end, it'll produce that recording, a transcript of everything you said, set of notes, and a summary, and a set of action items that you can use to take your next steps. So this is documenting your processes so you can more easily teach them and have other people do them. So the goal here is you should answer each of these questions in detail and be very specific. Do not answer simply yes or no. Answer like it's an open-ended question where every point or detail helps you more. I'll start with one of the questions. If I ask, can you describe your product or service that your business offers? You would want to describe that product or service in great detail. For me, I offer consulting services, so I might say something like, I offer in-depth consulting advisory sessions via video call to a number of different business owner clients in different industries where we're navigating their exit plan and helping them sell their business, right? You want to be specific like that because the more specific you are, the better notes it'll take. So because it's being recorded and taking notes, you've got to set the frame. So before you ask your questions, you should say the following in exact detail as I have it written here. My name is blank, and I am about to interview myself using pre-written questions. I will read each question aloud and then answer it to the best of my ability. Notes are being taken from this interview and should include the questions I ask, what I say, and what documents might be needed to be collected or created in order to effectively prepare a new buyer of my business to take over these things. Now, I would go ahead and just block off like a couple hours of your time when you can to do this interview so that you can take your time, answer in depth, not feel rushed, and make it the best that you can. So then you get to the questions that you're going to ask yourself. And I'm not going to read through all of these in detail. That would take too long for you watching this video. Wouldn't be a great use of your time. But again, you make a copy of this document or just pull this document up, ask yourself aloud, read the question aloud, and then answer it in detail. And then you'll have a good solid interview recorded of yourself, giving yourself all the instruction that you're going to need for the future steps that we'll get to here. So that's going to be some really powerful stuff to have in your sale. In other words, you filled up your armory full of the weapons and resources that you need for the war. Then you can go ahead and use this link to return. Return here after your interview, and then go check your Gmail inbox for an email from Fathom, or go on your homepage on your Fathom login, and you'll actually see that call recorded. And you can open the call that you just recorded, take the notes and the summary of the transcript of the call and copy it, and then you can paste it into ChatGPT, which you can get for free, by the way, if you don't already have a ChatGPT account. Again, you must be living in 2019 or something. Go ahead and get that, download that. But you can get that for free, log in through Google again. So paste your transcript and your notes into ChatGPT and ask it exactly the following. Can you please read through this and give me a list of tasks I need to complete in order to have all of my documents organized, and also a list of the systems, processes, and people described in my interview, and how to do everything I described in the interview. Can you also create a script for me to follow while I do a screen share showing any of these processes that are on an online system or software? So after you ask it this, it's going to give you a lot to go off of. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to create a Google Drive folder within your Google account. You're going to call it documents needed to run the business and sell it, or documents needed to run business name here, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be your armory. This folder is going to have all of the documents and processes and systems that you need. Then you're going to put any relevant documents into it, including one with the list that ChatGPT gives you, just copied and pasted onto a Google Doc. Now, whenever you have future conversations with buyers, this is what you're going to be able to refer back to. This is your armory. This has your weapons and your resources for the coming war. You're going to make another Google Doc and call it video trainings. Then you're going to download something called Loom onto your computer. Again, this is free to use as long as you make videos under 5 minutes. It's actually what I'm using to make this video right now, so you can share your screen and show yourself on video just like I'm doing. Then you're going to use it to make screen recording videos just like you're watching now, walking and talking through any of the processes that are on computers and that need to be done, or even all of the processes in general, just so that you can give your take and describe them in better detail. Then Loom is going to automatically create URL links for each of the videos. As soon as you hit stop recording, it pops up with a link, and you're going to link to each of these videos on that Google Doc that you made on the video trainings document. Then anyone can refer back to it and know exactly how to do the different things that you do as an owner in your business in the future coming time, when you have to give that responsibility to someone else, whether that be an employee or an owner. And we're going to talk about that, don't worry. Now, this is all the fuel for your victory in the coming war, and you'll want to refer back to it often. Each tool that you add here gives you more and more negotiating power and more value in your business when you do actually go to sell it. Okay, so you filled your armory. Now it's time to lock down your forces. Your forces here are your employees. And unlike in most wars, they aren't there because they have to be. They're only at your company to the extent that they want to be and keep wanting to be. So it's completely crucial here that you make sure that they're there to stay if you do want to sell your business one day. I once almost lost a key employee, and this employee later turned out to be the main reason we could sell the business. One day, he called me wanting to quit. Blindsided, I did the only thing I could possibly do, and I spent a couple hours talking him off the ledge. It turned out I had been failing him as a leader. I hadn't given him all that he needed to be successful in the role, and he wasn't feeling appreciated because of this. But I knew that he was crucial to the success of the business. So I did what needed to be done to keep him around. I decided to get to the bottom of what it would take for him to stay and why he had such an issue at the time. I listened actively, asked about what he wanted out of his future with the company, and I figured out what type of compensation would actually help him reach his short and long-term goals without being unrealistic with what the company could actually afford and still grow. I now often lead my clients through transparent discovery conversations with their key employees that look a lot like that conversation I described. The difference is that we anticipate, we don't wait. Rather than waiting for the come to Jesus moment like I had long ago, where I got lucky, honestly, we anticipate the need for this conversation, we prepare, and then they have it. And they really usually never go bad. Who doesn't want to be guided towards more career growth and a better position and taken care of by their boss? I haven't met that person yet. So what does a conversation like a key employee like this look like? It's actually wildly simple. Might go something like this. Hey, key employee name, I want to let you know that I value you a lot here. What you do is really important, not only to me, but also to the company. So I want to, 1, recognize you for that, and 2, ask you what I can do to help you keep growing and succeeding here. Then you shut the fuck up and listen intently. Let them tell you. Or another one, hey, key employee name, it's really important to me that I help you reach your goals here at company name. Can you share with me what some of those are? And if you don't know what they are for sure yet, can I help you figure those out? Or what would help you grow here and why? Or how and why would advancing your career here help you reach your short and long-term goals? Let's talk about it. Then, like before, you shut the fuck up and you listen intently and you let them tell you the answers that you need. And then you say, great, thank you for sharing. Let me do a little thinking about how I can help you get there, and I'll run some ideas by you soon. And then, here's the key, you actually bring them some good ideas that can help. And what are those good ideas? Well, that takes us to number 4, which is to give out your commands. Let me start here by asking you some honest questions. Do you think a buyer would pay more for, number 1, a business where the owner's doing everything and wants to leave it all to the buyer? Or number 2, a business where the owner has given all responsibility to the employees and empowered them to run the business themselves? Do you think a war is won by having the king fight the opposing side all on his own? Or do you think he puts great leaders in place that take the troops to battle for him? These are questions you know the answer to, but 99% of business owners get this wrong, especially if they actually enjoy a lot of what they do in the business. So think back for a second to where we are now. We've set the stage with your forces. We've briefed them and we've prepared them to stay on our side for the war that's coming. We've figured out what they actually need to be able to stay around and how we keep them around. Now, we make it official. A lot of business owners give raises or promotions because they either feel like they have to, or they just feel like if they don't give one, they might lose their employee. And while all of that is probably very true, you're missing the other side of the equation. I tell all my clients, with increased pay comes increased responsibility. And no, that's not the Uncle Ben quote from Spider-Man, that's just business. In other words, every time you give a promotion or pay, there should be a mutual exchange of increased expectation and responsibilities from that employee. These things should be very clear and communicated very well by you. And what are these things, you might ask? Well, let's think back to the war terms. What did you do in step number 2? You filled your armory. Every time you promote or increase the pay of your employee, you should give them the responsibilities and expectations that were previously being handled by either you or the employee above them. These are the things that you already documented and systematized and made into processes. It should be very easy to hand these responsibilities off to this person now and for them to be able to be trained on them because you have these resources there stockpiled in your armory. So now it's time for step 5, which is to become open-minded. Similar to the way that war can play out in a lot of different ways, the sale of your business can too. In order for you to prepare yourself, you need to expand your mind to allow for the possibility of many different outcomes in the sale of your business, none of which you have full control over. In war, these are unexpected changes that come along in different various battles that you're in. In your business sale, these are unexpected terms or plays from the buyer. Right now, you've got a very narrow-minded view of the way that your sale could play out. You might be expecting that once you actually find the right person to buy it, you'll shake hands and part ways, your bank account filled up and your responsibilities completely gone, but it's probably not quite that simple. This is actually unlikely, and I can tell you from experience, I've done it that way and seen less money as a result. I've also done it other ways and seen more money as a result. In reality, your buyer is probably going to expect two things that you might not have thought of yet. Number one, a period of time that you stay in the business to help them transition the ownership. Number two, a period of time that the purchase price that you agree on is actually paid out over. Now, I encourage you not only to open your mind to both of these things, but also to recognize the benefits. Number one, you set the buyer's mind at ease by giving them some transition time for ownership. You shut down the question in their mind that they're undoubtedly asking themselves, which is, if this business is so great, why do they want out? That makes for an easier sale. Number two, you allow them to reach a higher overall purchase price by not requiring them to pay it all at once, which means more money for you. With your mind open to these new possibilities, you expand the pool of potential buyers and you make it easier and more likely for them to buy your business for the money that you actually want for it. In war, this openness and readiness to adapt can mean the difference between victory and a loss. It could be the difference between you selling your business and not, or selling for less than you want to. But the more you're open on the spectrum of both the financing and the terms and the amount of time of the transition process, the easier it is to make the sale happen and the more money that you can reasonably ask for overall. When you're talking about something as expensive as business, the compounding power of sweetening the pot in this way means a lot better result for you overall. Think about it in this way. If you were the buyer, would you pay more and be more willing to close on the deal if the seller seemed like they were actually trying to help you along in the process and make it easier for you? Now it's time for number 6, which is to draw up your battle plans. By this point, you've got a lot going for you. You're mentally prepared to seize the opportunity. Your armory is full. Your forces are prepared for the coming war. Your leaders are ready and equipped to lead the troops, and you're ready to adapt to whatever the war throws at you. That means it's time to draw up your plan. In war, this is a battle plan, a strategy for the expected battles, the partnerships you'll need to form, and how you'll actually do it and execute it and win. In business selling, it's going to be two things. Number one is creating a list of buyers. Number two, creating your marketing plan for them. Fortunately, I'm going to teach you how to do both of these two things. Now let's start with your list of buyers. I want to make a very, very important point here. Strategic buyers pay more because they want you more. I'll identify a strategic buyer here as someone who stands to gain a significant advantage in their business by buying your business. So another business that can benefit from buying yours. An example would be a well-established roofing company that's grown over decades by word of mouth and referrals, buying a smaller, scrappier roofing company in a nearby region that's grown quickly in the last couple of years with innovative digital marketing strategies. They benefit because it's easier for them to manage the additional operations under one roof, and they can use the marketing tactics to expand the whole operation more quickly. Now, this opens your hunting grounds to a lot of different types of businesses. My advice, start with the motivation that they'd have for the purchase. Then identify 5 to 10 key avatars of them that are highly specific and could be targeted by industry, size, and location. Now we're going to make a list of them. And no, we're not going to tirelessly crawl the internet trying to find them. We're going to do it the smart and easy way. Here's how. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a LinkedIn account if you don't already have one. Again, if you're living in 2019, let's catch up, get yourself on LinkedIn. Log into LinkedIn on your desktop, so on like a laptop or actual computer. Then you're going to click For Business in the top right corner. So log into your LinkedIn on an actual desktop, so your laptop or an actual computer. Then you're going to go up to For Business up here, and you won't see it on mine because I already have it, but you're going to find an option called Sales Navigator, and you're going to click into that, and you're going to go ahead, and if you've never made it before, you can make it for free and get a free trial, which might be all you need to make the list that we're going to make here. Or you can reactivate it. I think it's less than $100 a month. Get it for 1 month. It'll be worth it to make your list. So you're going to get into Sales Navigator, and your Sales Navigator is going to look something like this. This is essentially the main area of it. So you're going to head over to Leads. Then you're going to go to Saved Searches, and you'll see I already have a few, but you won't have any. So then you're going to make a new saved search. So you're going to click in here, go to Lead Filters, and then here is where you will start to actually hone in on the type of buyer that you're looking for. And what we're looking for here is, again, strategic buyers. So once you have that set of filters pulled up, you're going to do, essentially, you're going to select owner, founder, or co-founder as the title. You might be able to select even a couple of those. Then you're going to hone in on the industry that you're in and maybe some industries that are parallel to yours that could actually also be a fit, kind of like the example that we talked about earlier. Then you're going to change the company headcount to 10 or more. Then you're going to change the years and role to above 5. Show you what those look like in actual Sales Navigator. So you would do company headcount here. You would actually change that to 11 to 50, just like this by clicking it. Then you would change the industry here. So you would select industries that are relevant to you and close to you. Then you would do years in current position. I would go 6 to 10, 3 to 5 years, 6 to 10, probably 6 to 10, and more than 10 years is going to be your best bet for people who are established in their position. And for the actual role, so current job title, you're going to go owner, co-founder, co-owner, include a few things like that, founder as well. These are going to give you the actual owner of the business. And you're going to see over here, it's a little bit cut off on my screen, but you're going to see that's a lot of results. So the goal is add additional filters if they make sense, but you're trying to hone this down to a set of people that are business owners with the type of business that you're looking for that might buy your business. And these are going to be bigger businesses than yours. So once you've filtered that all the way down, I want you to keep this page open and then open a new tab on your browser. And you're going to go to something called Dripify. So Dripify looks like this. Here's my dashboard. And you're essentially going to set up another free account here. You get the premium trial for 7 days. And again, that might be all you need if you just get this done. Make the free trial or get the premium for 1 month. And you do need the premium to do this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into campaigns. You're going to start a new campaign. You're going to add leads. Then what you're going to do is you're going to name your lead list. And I would recommend naming it something like your industry name of choice, owners, and then your country of residence. So for example, if we were in accounting, you might name it accounting business owners in the US, right? Just name it something like that to keep track of it. Then you're going to name it there. Then you're going to paste the URL of your actual Sales Navigator search into this, and then you're going to create a list, and you're going to go through the rest of the prompts here. It'll make you create a sequence. I would just pick anything for now because you're not actually going to use this. This is just giving you a free way to export that list. Then once you finish that, eventually you'll see it in your campaigns here. You can see I've had some different various campaigns I've run, but you're going to see it in your campaigns. You're going to give it a couple of hours to actually populate. And then I want you to go ahead and click this and turn it off. So you don't want it to say active, just keep it off. You don't actually want this campaign to run. But what this is going to do is this is going to give you a lead list in here. So you're going to take this list and you're going to actually click export here. So then whatever email you signed up with, you're going to get an email of all of your leads, and that's going to come as an Excel file, and you can just download that, and then you've got a list of buyers and their contact information. Now, one little point of reference here is sometimes it won't show their emails. It'll just show find email. So what I would recommend doing here to make your list even better is taking the time to actually click on these as you can. Click on as many as it'll let you do and kind of go through your list and do that. Because the more your list of buyers is, the more people you can contact. Your ideal goal here is I would actually hone this down to your state of residence in your Sales Navigator search as well, because you're looking for businesses that would be interested in acquiring you. And ideally, they're going to be businesses, bigger businesses than yours in your industry within your region. And I would recommend honing the list down to that. You're looking for ideally at least 50 to 100 people in this position to create your list. So like I showed here, I list these steps on the document that we're covering. So in case you need a refresher, you can go back and look on the document and follow along. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create your marketing materials. So there's 2 things that we're going to create here: a confidential information memorandum and a teaser. So you're going to create these using a free account on canva.com. Again, if you're in 2019 and you don't have a canva.com account, it's another free account that you can create. Go ahead and create that. And then you're going to go ahead and use my CIM and teaser templates, and you're going to make one of each. So you open these up on the document that I included, and these will look like this. If you're already signed into Canva, you can just use these and edit the template directly from here on your own Canva account. So you're going to open that one up, and you're going to open up the teaser, and I'll show you what these look like briefly. Basically, I have these set up so that you can come in and edit them and just replace all of the different information that it says in here with information about your company. So either you do that or have someone in your company help you fill this out. And then you're going to have marketing materials that you can actually send out. And the teaser looks like this. And then the CIM looks like this. The teaser is basically a shortened version of the CIM. The confidential information memorandum just has all this awesome information about your business that you're ultimately going to use to show to buyers. So what you're going to do is you're going to make those your own with your own personal company information. Once you get to the later steps, you're going to use these to help buyers, potential buyers, gauge interest in your company and get into the due diligence process. So these should reflect your company honestly and confidently. The goal here is to sell the reader or viewer on the company as an opportunity that can actually help them in their company. If you don't get excited about your company when you're actually reading through these, neither will your actual interested party. Your plan, which is to be used later when you're ready, is the following. So you or a representative of yours for the purposes of the sale, which is what I would recommend and we'll get into in a later step, will contact a potential buyer from the list that you made. They'll then send them the teaser or show it to them. If interested, you or they will have the buyer sign an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement. And you can click the link in the document here to get my NDA template. This is not legal advice and it says that on here. I would just recommend using this as something to start with and filling it out on your own, getting a consultation from a legal professional to actually fill it out as you need it for your business. Then you're going to send them or show them the confidential information memorandum if they sign the NDA. Then, if they're interested still, you'll get into further discussions that we'll describe later in this guide for due diligence. The key when going through this will be keeping a level of privacy of information while also doing it at scale enough to find the right buyer and the right situation at the right time. That's why the process is specific and measured. If you're interested in hearing even more about how this process is best navigated, I have another video that I'll link here where I've actually broken it down. In that one, I describe the way that M&A firms use a process just like this to gain the best sale price for the sellers that they represent. Now it's time for number 7, dictating the narrative. This is where you rehearse for the battles that are ahead of you. Now, if we were at war for real, you'd be doing drills, mock fighting, sparring, and other related activities to accustom you to the things that you could expect ahead of you in the war. Our war here is a collection of battles. These battles are the various conversations that you'll have with future potential buyers. Here's the very cool difference here though. It only takes one decisive victory in battle to win the war, and you don't lose the war by only losing one battle. So you've got some flexibility. Now there's an art here to make it successful though. The art is in creating interest without spilling the secrets. The reason we call this part of the process dictate the narrative is that when you have conversations with buyers, it's part of your job to control the story of why you're looking to sell. There are 2 types of questions that buyers will ultimately have when you start getting started with these conversations and when they begin. Now, the first one is the kind that they actually ask you. The second is the kind that they think in their head, but they don't actually ask you, but still influence their decisions. You have to answer both, regardless of the fact that they don't actually invite any answers for the second type. Let's talk about some of each type that will be asked and how to answer them. I pulled these from an actual list of clients that my client and I have been practicing through when he receives interest from different buyers. Okay, so the first type of question is the questions that they'll actually ask. I'm not gonna read through all of these, but again, these are in the document that I provide and the link to the description. So you can download that and go through these and put the answers to them on your own to reference later if you'd like. So these are questions like, why are you looking to sell your company? Can you share with me your company background? Will you be willing to stay on for a transition period to train me for running the company? Things like that. You're going to answer all of these proactively on this sheet so that you have the answers ready for when you eventually talk to a buyer. So tips for these questions: you should make it exciting but realistic. You should focus on building trust and rapport, and you should respond with confidence. You should be transparent, but not all revealing about it. And you should always present a united front with any other owners if there's other owners besides just yourself. Now, the second type of question is the kind that they'll just think in their head, but they won't actually ask you. And your job here is to anticipate these thoughts and address the underlying concerns. So you don't bring up the questions directly, but you just give them things to think about based on what you anticipate they're probably worried about. So here are some to think about. And then in bold here on the document that I've provided in the link in the description, you can actually see how I would recommend addressing these. So again, these are not questions that you're bringing up, but these are questions that you're addressing indirectly by other things that you say. For an example of this, and again, I'm not going to read through all of these, but an example of this is they might be thinking, are you only selling your business because you think its best days are past and you feel like it's a sinking ship? This is just an honest question that buyers might be thinking, that any buyer that's looking at your business will be thinking. So how I would recommend addressing this is by proactively including growth and opportunity in the forefront of the narrative that you're giving to them. Like I'm going to talk about in a bit, it's your job to control the narrative here. And you do this by addressing underlying concerns like this in a measured and concerted way. So while the buyer's definitely going to have questions for you, like we talked about, much like a job interview, it should be a two-sided conversation. If you've ever had a successful job interview, you know that the more that you control the conversation and frame yourself as the prize to be had by asking about their company and asking questions that make them think that you've got high standards, just the more that they're going to want to hire you. It's the same thing when you're selling a business. So you need to have some questions ready for them too. And this is meant to accomplish three different things. One is to show them that you see yourself as an equal player and that they should take you seriously in these conversations. The next is to help you determine how likely they are to close on the sale in terms of what they can offer financially, on what terms, how good of a cultural fit they are, and how soon they're actually looking to act. But most importantly, this is for you to gather valuable information about how much your business might be worth to them outside of its monetary value and why. The information you gather with the questions that you ask is your leverage here. This is what helps you get a deal across the finish line. This is what the buyer reveals about the value that they see in your company. You're looking for whether or not they're serious about actually buying your company and what it can help them accomplish in their company. Try to anticipate these types of questions ahead of time based on the type of buyer. So back to our previous example that we talked about. This is a well-established roofing company that's grown over the course of decades by word of mouth and referrals. And you're a smaller, scrappier roofing company in a nearby region that's grown quickly with innovative digital marketing strategies. You might plan to ask them what their marketing strategy looks like, knowing that it's kind of a sore spot that your company can help improve. This may open up some transparency on their end about their desire for your company's expertise, helping you gain some leverage and ask for a higher price and better terms. As a last note for all these questions, you should think to yourself before asking them to the potential buyer, what would make me excited to create this partnership? Here are some examples of open-ended, and that's the key again, open-ended questions that you might consider asking them in your first talks. And again, I'm not going to go through all of these, but why does your organization want to buy my company? Why expand into my area or my industry or my subcategory, whatever it is? What are the main value adds that you see my company bring to the table for you? That's a really key one. That's where you want to take notes and take note of what they say, because those are the things that you can later use for negotiation. Now, be kind and considerate as you ask these. Be friendly, but inquisitive. The lens that I would like you to look through when you're asking these questions is, I'm trying to look out for my company and my people by vetting this person, but also creating rapport and relationship with them at the same time. Be optimistic without being overly excited, and be honest and transparent without being overly revealing. Now, don't overpromise, because this could end up getting worked into the deal as requirements that you have to live up to make it work. And don't volunteer information that's problematic if you aren't actually asked directly about it. The way I recommend practicing for this is with actual role play as much as you can manage. Get the help of a trusted friend, family member, or consultant to do this with you. This sale is a big deal to you, so it's worth getting thorough practice in a real way. And remember, it's not about whether or not you're prepared here. It's about how prepared you are, and the more prepared you are, the better it's going to look for you. Now for number 8, it's time for you to recruit your hero. Let's circle back for a second to the Battle of Gaugamela that we talked about earlier. To set the scene again, Alexander the Great was facing King Darius III of Persia in a really big battle near Gaugamela and fighting for control of Persia. Though Alexander gets credit in history for winning this battle, he had a brave soldier named Cletus the Black that made a major move leading to his victory. This was Alexander's hero. Cletus ended up tricking the Persians by pretending to retreat from the battle. They followed him, which left King Darius vulnerable. Alexander charged at Darius and ended up defeating him and then winning the war. Because of Cletus's move, Alexander was able to win this, and it really changed history. So why do I bring this up? The point here is not that you need to trick your buyer, but rather that you need a hero. You need your Cletus. If you could go back and ask Alexander the Great, he'd probably tell you that he recognized his own limitations and recruited heroes like this to help him gain an edge in this war. In the war of selling your business, it's no different. You're limited by your own experience, knowledge, and perspective, and connections, and your capacity for work. That's why you need to recruit a hero to help you win the war. Now let's talk about what types of people can qualify as your hero and the pros and cons associated with each. I'm going to cover three main ones here. Option number one is a business broker. And this is someone who specializes in matching buyers with sellers and making a sale happen, like a real estate agent for businesses. So the pros here is you have more resources and a bigger network to find buyers. You got experience for negotiations that they bring to the table and they can help you prepare. You have someone incentivized to put in the work of the outreach on your behalf. And they usually have a lot of knowledge about the process and can help you navigate things. They can also help you find buyers you wouldn't have otherwise and negotiate the right way. The way you can think of this is if you ever sold a house before, it would be like if you tried to buy or sell a house on your own and didn't have a real estate agent. That's kind of how business brokers help with your business. Now, the cons are that you're on the hook for a lot of money. They usually take 10 to 15% commission on the sale price of the business. So there's a cost to doing this. And their incentive is also to complete a transaction. So a lot of them will take on a lot of different businesses at once, hoping that one will make it to the point of selling. And they might not be able to devote the time or the resources that you need to get this done quickly and efficiently and profitably. And while they get more money if your business sells for more, they also might be partial to not pushing as hard to up the price in the interest of just getting the deal done so that they can get their commission. And that means you might lose some value in the meantime. And they usually like to take you on when you're nearly ready to sell. So they don't really provide the consultation of actually growing your business most times. They want it to sell in its current state. So you lack that preparation to a certain degree. Now, option number two is a mergers and acquisitions firm. This is a firm that gives you a full service representation for selling. So the pros are, again, similar to the business broker. You've got more resources, a bigger network to find buyers, experience for negotiations and to help you prepare. You've got usually a whole team that's putting in the work on your behalf of outreach to buyers. They usually have a lot of knowledge about the process and can help you navigate these things. And they put together really extensive marketing materials. So back to that confidential information memorandum and the teaser, a lot of them will actually create these resources for you. And this ultimately helps you get a higher price in your sale. They also usually have a pretty vast and massive network of buyers just across all industries. And a lot of this just has to do with the length of time that they've been in the industry and in operation. So like I said, this helps you get a higher price on your sale, and they put usually a full team onto your business. So there's a lot of hands on deck helping you out, a lot of ideas brought to the table, and just a lot of assistance to get it done quickly and efficiently. Now the cons, again, you're on the hook for even more money here. They usually take a retainer fee and a percentage of the sale. The retainer fee is going to be tens of thousands of dollars, probably sometimes hundreds. And the percentage of the sale will probably be lower than what a broker would charge, but it's still going to be significant, maybe 5, 6, 7%. Now, they take you on similar to a broker when you're nearly ready to sell. So they don't provide a lot of consultation on actually growing your business to get ready for this. And they want it to sell in its current state. Now, option number 3 is an exit planning consultant, and that's what I am. Again, my name is Brody Vinson. Exit planning consulting is what I do and what my company does. So this is a one-on-one representative that you meet with regularly to create a plan earlier on and actually add value before your sale. So the pros here are this help will be incredibly personalized to your business. They come with a lot of experience across many industries. They've got a network of buyers, brokers, and M&A firms, and you start much earlier in the process with them. So you're more prepared. You have time to make your business more valuable before selling, and you can work with them all the way through the process and have a partner to bounce ideas off of for every part of the planning that we've discussed so far and that we'll discuss in the future. They also don't take a percentage of the sale, so you're able to add value in a strategic way that will help you get more money and have more negotiating power for your sale. Now, the cons are that this costs money too. They usually take a retainer fee, but not a percentage of the sale. I can tell you what I do. I'd take a monthly payment of retainer fee or a quarterly payment, depending on the client and the term. So the retainer fee varies from consultant to consultant, but in general, it's expensive work. The longer you work with them, the more you'll pay, and also the more prepared you'll be. Again, a pro of this, though, is that the value that you add through this work will probably bring you much more money in your sale than you actually pay for the work itself. So that's why this makes sense. There's no perfect choice for you when you select your hero. Of course, I'm biased towards option number 3 because that's the market that I serve. I am an exit planning consultant, and Scale for Sale is an exit planning consulting firm. But my best advice to you here is to assess your individual situation and needs and decide based on the pros and cons of going with each. You should interview people in each option you consider about their past experience, connections, resources available, prices, and their availability. Only then will you be equipped to make the best decision of the hero that will ultimately help you win the war of selling your business for as much money as possible in the best terms. For number 9, it's time to go on the offensive. This is your final step. This is where we actually go to war and win the war. Let's take inventory once again of where you're at by this point. You're mentally prepared to seize opportunity. Your armory is full. Your forces are prepared for the coming war. Your leaders are ready and equipped to lead them, and you're ready to adapt to whatever the war throws at you. You've drawn up a comprehensive plan of action, you've rehearsed, and you're ready to create your ideal narrative, and you've recruited your hero that brings to the table what you can't on your own. Now it's time to act and take everything you've prepared and gathered to the table and go on the offensive. You're undoubtedly asking yourself questions right now along the lines of, why would I go on the offensive? Won't buyers just come to me? Or what does going on the offensive even mean? And I'll help you answer these questions on your own. Do you think you would get more money for your business if you sat around waiting for a buyer to come to you? Or if you came to a large number of buyers with a great opportunity that could only go to the highest bidder? Right, so we're gonna go with the second option. Armed with the readiness to seize opportunity, you're gonna do so when you see it. Armed with the resources, documents, systems, and processes to showcase the opportunity, you're going to use them. Armed with the employees and leaders to run the business in your absence, you're going to make this believable. Armed with the openness to multiple forms of sale, you're going to find a fit. Armed with a plan of action, you're going to execute on it. Armed with a compelling narrative, you're going to speak it into existence. And armed with the perfect hero, you're going to bring about a decisive victory in the form of selling your business for life-changing money. Now let's go back to our example from before and think through how this would look. You have a roofing company that has grown quickly over 5 years with innovative digital marketing strategies. You mentally prepare yourself to sell when the fit is right. You find an exit planning consultant, your hero in other words, to help you with what is to come. And they help you collect and document the systems, resources, documents, and processes that make your business successful and that a future owner would need to run the company without you. They help you have key conversations with employees about their goals and make sure they have what they need and are trained for it. And they help you study up on what the sale might look like. And you decide you think you'll sell for the most with a couple of years of transition time and some financing. And they help you create a marketing brochure showcasing your business and a list of 50 or so buyers that it would make sense for. And they help you think through and practice many possible conversations with buyers based on the list that you made. And then they help you find a well-established roofing company in a nearby region that has grown over decades of word of mouth and referrals, but has very little marketing expertise. Then they help you negotiate a deal that puts you in partnership with this company for a couple of years while getting paid out a purchase price better than you could have ever imagined. You leave that exit planning consultant a 5-star review and you ride off into the sunset with your huge bag of cash. Here's the thing. This is the power of a well thought out and well executed exit plan. It's designed to control for as many variables as possible and result in the life-changing result that you're looking for. If you fail to plan here, you plan to fail. And failing to sell your business is absolutely not what you're looking for. If you're a service-based business owner that's currently doing $250,000 in annual net earnings and looking to sell within the next 2 years and hoping to maximize that sale to the highest degree possible, we should talk. Because if you've watched this whole video, you understand that this is a complicated process. It's complicated for a lot of reasons. Not everyone can do it, and especially on their own. I've chosen to specialize in this because people just like you need this help. And it's our mission at my company, Scale for Sale, to empower business owners to sell their business for more money. Simply put, we do that through education like this video that you're watching right now or that you're reading in the resource, or through consulting. Our consulting process is a combination of done with you and done for you processes where we systematically move through all 9 of these components that I've described until you reach your goal of selling. And we aren't a traditional M&A firm or business brokerage because we focus on this deep work instead. If we think you'd benefit from including a broker or M&A firm in your process, we simply set you up with one of the dozens and dozens across the world that are in our network. And we even continue working with you while you work with them so that you're as prepared as possible while they actually broker the sale. Now, if this sounds like something that you could benefit from, you can book a free consultation with a member of our team right here. What this will look like is just taking you to a web page on our website where you can find some time where a team member is open and just book some time to talk about your business in particular. So what this will look like is simply identifying where you're at in your personal war of preparing to sell your business and explaining how we would help you actually win the war. That's simple, using the steps that we already talked about in this video. And if you're tired of just imagining selling your business one day and you're actually ready to be one of the rare few that takes action, you can book a call with our team right here and we'll help get your plan started. Now, I hope this provides some value and helps you navigate the process of selling your business. There's a ton of people out there, though, who have no idea what they're doing within this realm. This market is drastically underrepresented, and that's why it's so important for me to get out content like this. So if you know someone who wants to sell their business one day, and maybe they don't have the proper guidance or they don't know how to navigate it, or you think that they need help, have them book a call here, even if it's not relevant to you. And again, I hope this brought some value to you. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to see future videos like this, where I cover these types of things. And you can get in contact with a member of our team on the link that I provided here. Again, download the entire document I went over here in the link in the description. And I look forward to helping you build your business to sell.